terrorist cell was still there, and they captured 27 of them. And then they said, well, they've been moved. Where are they now? I gave another description, and some officer in Washington, D.C. said, we're not passing that to the unit because I don't believe in that stuff. Where that information came from or how the subconscious moves in time and space, I don't really care. I just wanted to bring those 2 soldiers home. Sadly, because it was not acted on, about a month later, the bodies of the 2 soldiers were found. I sincerely believe that they could have been brought home alive if some stupid officer in D.C. hadn't, been too prejudiced to pass the information to the military unit that was actually waiting for the information.
Question somebody may have, Lyn, is that because time is clicking along, at least in the minds of many people who think traditionally, what you see in a moment of time through remote viewing is likely to shift in an hour. So someone may say, well, then what good is it? If what you go in and view may be during a certain time frame only, but at least you know what time frame that is, correct?
One of the things we found in the military was that, like if I say the criminal is going to be at Joe's Bar and Grill at 9 o'clock tonight, then the police go out at 8:30, hide in the bushes and arrest him at 8:35. Then at 9 o'clock tonight, he won't be at Joe's Bar and Grill. He'll be in jail. And yet, if I say at 9 o'clock tonight, he'll be in jail, they never will go out to Joe's Bar and Grill, and at 9 o'clock he'll be sitting there. The future is highly changeable. And so once you predict the future, if someone acts on it, it's going to change that future. We have an analogy that you're a bug on the pond of time.
Right.
You see a bug on the other side of the pond, and you think that would make a good meal, and that other bug is sitting by this big rock. As you skim across the pond of time, you set up a wake in front of you, and it may scare that bug off. And so, can you then say that at the time you started, the bug wasn't there simply because he's not there when you get there? And the answer is no. The future will change. The future is not what it used to be. The analogy of the bug on the pond of time is
right.
The rock will still be there. There are some things in time that you can't change. There, in the future that you can't change, and there are some things that simply acting on them will change them. The other analogy we use is that life is like playing chess with God, that you can pull off some really smart moves and capture some of his men and do some really good stuff, but in the end, he wins, always wins.
That's a great analogy, and actually it reminds me of the first interview that we did together. If, in fact, though, with regard to time, like this situation in Japan is time-sensitive emergency.
Yes, and really needs help.
So a time-sensitive task in a controlled remote viewing scenario would be, tasking what needs to be done in the next 24 hours?
Absolutely, yes. And,
okay.
Because once you do that, then what follows after the next 24 hours will be different from what it would be if you didn't act. And so this is why I was saying that someone needs to actually sit down with the people at the planning desk and sit down with the guy who's going to suit up and go into that facility and actually be there on the spot and actually work in real time with these people. Because moment by moment, the future can change.
What if you were to go in and do a controlled remote viewing session sometime today?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can, but if you did.
Yeah.
And you could go in and task which is the first reactor that has to be responded to that's actually more urgent that they may not even know.
You're right. Yeah. That would be no problem. The problem would be then what do I do with the information that I've gained? If there were someone there who would readily accept that information and who would act on it, then it would be one of the most useful things that you could possibly do to save possibly thousands of lives. If nobody would act on it, then it would be a waste of time.
I'm sure in your work you have had to rely on your instincts and your intuition as well through your life.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In rainmaking, we say that you provision for what needs to happen, and you start preparing what needs to happen. And then who it needs to go to will appear. People will help bring that to the people that need it. Sometimes people won't take a step to do something like this until you know you have the people. So in a time-sensitive emergency scenario, for example, I would take a leap of faith, and I would start with some elements of this, if you could, and prepare the information on a time-sensitive level and allow the people that are willing to start doing the footwork to get it to the people who need to hear it, to usher that in.
Question is, who are those people and how do I contact those people, or how do they contact me?
They're going to hear by this segment that I've just agreed to be one of those people to begin working on this. This is a communications task. This is a whole systems task just to do it. It's going to take whoever it's going to take, but it's a whole other body of work than what you may be called to do.
Yeah.
The tsunami and the earthquake was Friday. I think it was Saturday where the nuclear began to stop working. So Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we're now Wednesday. So that's 5 days. 5 days it's been rolling, and we're no closer to fixing it that we know of. They're not giving any inkling that this is easily and quickly being able to be fixed. I don't sense that kind of confidence at all. So it seems like maybe there's some tasks that can be done on your end, and then others of us will begin shepherding this. This is going to take a team of people to be working on different elements of this.
Right.
But I think that the severity of it, if it all melts down, what are we looking at?
Well, what we're looking at is the potential to help and trying to get that potential into actual help.
Right.
Like I can do the remote viewing on what's going to happen an hour from now, but I can't get it to anyone until they listen. And so the job that you could do and that your listeners could do is get somebody to listen. And, it's, I hate to use a term that's already been in use, but it's time to make some rain here.
Indeed. It's a worthy call, and it's a noble call. It's really a mandate, because this is going to impact people in many countries of the world. This radiation can last thousands of years. And I don't know the potential of 6 reactors melting down or even 2 reactors melting down, but I have a feeling it's beyond our imagination.
Oh, yeah. If that happens, first of all, the winds that are going to carry things are going to carry them across Russia and across the northern Americas. And so, at this point, people are sitting at home saying, those poor Japanese, somebody ought to do something. And that somebody is never them. But they're not realizing that if this meltdown happens, hey, your kids are in danger. You're in danger. And it's, like I say, it's time to make some rain. It's time to get up off the derriere and actually do something.
It's a pleasure and an honor to talk with you. And I really appreciate your time. It's rainmaking time. Let's begin. Let's begin.
Good.
And include provisioning, even though we don't have answers on who the final people are, what's going to happen. Go ahead and do what's within our call to do.
Yeah.
And allow others to come in and facilitate as well.
Sometimes it's not such a task to speak to one person directly as it is to simply make so much noise that they can't refuse to hear it.
Exactly. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking with Lyn Buchanan, the author of The Seventh Sense, the founder and executive at Problem Solutions Innovations, He is a trainer of remote viewing and a former trainer for the U.S. government's remote viewing